All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So there was an article that was released on ESPN detailing, or I guess maybe highlighting, Garrett Wilson's frustration in 2023 with the New York Jets. Obviously, it was well documented at the time. I mean, first of all, we can think back. Absolutely horrible. We can look at the numbers, we can look at the ranks, all that stuff, right? But I do remember at times listening to Garrett Wilson just after games in the middle of the week, and just his frustration level was evident, right? And I mean, honestly, how could you blame him? Top 10 pick, dynamic as hell, explosive, athletic, crazy vert, great with the football in his hands. He can make plays, in so many different areas of a typical offense. And despite all of the dysfunction, horrible play caller, horrible game planner, cycling through multiple quarterbacks that just frankly did not work, Zach, Boyle, Simeon, virtually being the only threat at the wide receiver position, although I like some of the younger guys, Brownlee and Gibson. But, let's be real, last season, if you're thinking about, if you're an outsider and you're thinking about premier receivers that the Jets have, it's Garrett Wilson, right? That was pretty much it. So in other words, from a defensive perspective, or if you put yourself in the shoes of a defensive coordinator, who's the primary target that you have to neutralize in the passing game? It's Garrett. Despite all of that stuff, still over 1,000 yards. Crazy, right? I get it. There's a lot of passing in today's league. Everything, like literally everything, is tailored towards explosive plays and yards and points and touchdowns. I get that for sure. But still, for Garrett Wilson to have two back-to-back 1,000+ yard receiving seasons with this as the Jets supporting cast offensively, I'm talking both personnel and coaches, then you lump on top of it the injuries that the team has had to face as well. Man, that's a lot of stuff. That is a lot to deal with for a young player. And the production, to me at least, is unreal, right? If we had a top 15 quarterback, if we had a top 15 offensive line, if we had, another receiver to take some of the pressure off of Garrett, whether that was Alan Lazard working out or Elijah Moore working out, one of these guys, I really feel like these numbers, Garrett's numbers, would shoot up. So the good news for us, right? We're looking ahead at 2024, and we're in prime position to do that, right? You hope that Mike Williams is healthy enough to start. You hope that Alan Lazard maybe shows a little more. Obviously, the Jets drafted Malachi Corley. We have tons of improvements on the offensive line, as well as Rodgers coming back. And also too, gonna throw this in there as well, Tyrod Taylor. So in the event that Rodgers were to get hurt, I still feel like Tyrod is a massive upgrade over Boyle and Zach. So I think we're in a great position. But according to the article here, Garrett called 2023 the worst year of my life, which is pretty crazy. It's disappointing on one hand, because a young, talented star in football in his second year, where he's putting up 1,000 yards, defying the odds, if you will, that's the worst year of his life. I mean, that should show the amount of, or I guess maybe the toll it takes on him with the losing and the lack of leadership and the lack of creativity offensively. There's, despite me loving where the Jets are at right now, I still have a lot of questions about this coaching staff, right? Thankfully, we did made a couple of swaps, right? In this case, Sean Jefferson is the new wide receiving coach. But man, to me, the jury's still out on a lot of these different guys. And, I'm like Keith Carter and Hackett and Downing getting a promotion to quarterback coach as well as passing game coordinator. Just a bunch of weird stuff. Saleh helping out on the offensive side of the football. We don't really know what that's going to look like. Refusing to bring somebody else in. There's just a lot of question marks here, right? But in regards to Garrett, he actually visited Italy. He went out to Arizona. He said that he spent time meditating in the desert. Said it was a great way for him to disconnect, and it was super chill. He said that he had to get his feet back underneath him and his head right. So, hopefully he's going to be hitting camp, ready to go, charged up, and 100% on board. But again, I do feel like this. It wasn't just Garrett too, right? It wasn't just like this weird anomaly, Jets' young star receivers frustrated. Brees Hall was frustrated. Michael Carter was frustrated. There were a lot of players that were open about the team's overall lack of success offensively, which to me should be a look in the mirror type of moment for Saleh, specifically for Joe Douglas, right? Because at the end of the day, these guys aren't just machines. You can't just roll them out there and expect them to be at 100% and, not react to certain things. Hopefully the Jets took some of this frustration to heart, looked themselves in the mirror and said, you know what, we got to be better on our end, right? We can't just talk about it, hype it up. We actually have to be about it, walk the walk, if you will, and move forward. So anyway, quick little video here. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I did feel as though it was a weird comment, a pretty bold comment from Garrett, right? The worst year of his life. I think he actually had the quote too in season, where it really, really not gonna lie to you, it frustrated me, right? He was talking about basically the future, his future, the Jets' future, and he just talked about his rookie contract, the length of the rookie contract. The only thing that he knows is that he's under contract for a couple more years, and then everything from there is up in the air. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, dude, we cannot have a receiver, a top 10 pick, a highly talented individual already looking, exploring in his mind about different, potential opportunities with other teams. I don't even want to go down that path. We got Douglas, Saleh, Hackett, they got to right the ship, right? We have to get more productive on the offensive side of the football. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.